Coming up next is the keynote address on essentials to drive value. It is an honor to introduce our keynote speaker for the summit, Mr. Nitish Mittersain, founder and MD, Nazara Technologies. Nazara Technologies is now a listed company, and here is Mr. Mittersain taking us through the journey while shedding light on the current scenario. Over to you.
So as Nazara has been around for 20 years. And when we started, the gaming market really didn't exist in India. The mobile phone penetration was just starting to happen. But fast forward 20 years, I think what we have seen is that you have a large growth in the mobile subscriber base. You have today, a billion users with mobile phones, smartphones, Android phones, which are available for, $100, 6,000 rupees, 7,000 rupees, which can double down as perfect gaming devices, great uh, touchscreen, great processors, etc. So I think that's the first huge evolution that's happened from an India gaming market. The second is the evolution of data in India. You have India today has fast data. It has among the world's cheapest data, which is also kind of spearheading this revolution of gaming that's happening in our country. I think the third thing that's happened very well in our country is digital payments progress. Like our Prime Minister recently said, India generates 40% now of global digital payment transactions and is way ahead of the curve even as compared to Western markets. So I think the third thing of digital payments developing very well in our country is also a big boost to gaming. I think the fourth is venture capital, risk capital, equity capital available now. People are recognizing the potential of gaming for India and also gaming from India for the world. So I think all these factors have really developed well over the last 2 decades, and especially I would say over the last 5, 7 years, which kind of make India a very perfect place for gaming to take off in a big way. And I really think this is the decade of gaming in India, and we will see India make huge progress on this front, both for the home market as well as the global market. The government is also supporting it. In the last budget, they set up the ABGC task force. They have been quite proactive about regulation, clarity on taxation, etc. So I think all the stars are lining up for gaming to really become a large industry in India, which is obviously very exciting for us at Nazara as well as for everyone in the gaming industry. So for Nazara, wanting to go IPO, we had decided to take the company public in 2017. We made our first attempt in 2018, and then we actually managed to list the company right in the middle of the pandemic in March of 21. It's been a long journey for us, but the dream has remained the same, that India will be a large gaming nation, and we wanted to play a role in that, and hopefully we are trying to contribute in whichever way we are. Going public was another milestone in our long journey. Also, new start, a new beginning. We felt a lot more grown up, no more a startup. And obviously, March 30th, 2021, when we listed the company, was a very exciting time. But the reality for any entrepreneur and any company is, the enthusiasm for or the enjoyment or the success lasts for 24 hours, right? And then you are back to work and back to doing the next thing and to grow and to make it larger and bigger. So going public has been very exciting for us, but also comes with a lot of responsibility. We have a large number of shareholders now, and we are working towards our 2030 goal on how we can continue to grow Nazara as a leader in this space.
Thank you, Mr. Mittersain, for delivering the keynote address. We would like you to stay on as I invite Mr. Anirban Choudhury, Assistant Editor, Special Initiatives, etbrandequity.com, to moderate the fireside chat. Welcome, gentlemen. Pleasure to have you here. Now I'll hand it over to Mr. Anirban. Over to you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Nitish, for such a warm keynote address. As you said, it was indeed many milestones for Nazara in the journey that it has covered so far. One of the anecdotal things that I remember is Vani Kola, MD of Kalari Capital, standing up and saying that Nazara's success is actually the benchmark and the tipping point for the gaming industry and the next decade. It was indeed a great remark coming in from somebody who pumps in money. would like to know from you, Nitish, when we talk about building a gaming enterprise, you mentioned it took you 20 years. What are the mandatory minimums according to you?
I think for a gaming enterprise to succeed, right? It's one is about having the passion and clarity of thought on what you want to do. That said, of course, companies evolve. Nazara over the years has evolved and pivoted many times. But our passion and dream for making gaming big and becoming big in gaming was always there, right? And we always kept coming back to the same point, to the same goal, and wanting to achieve something in that direction. So I think that passion and perseverance is extremely important. Like any company, even in gaming, the talent, the team becomes extremely critical, because finally it's the people who are being creative or executing, making the product, making it a success, and you can't do anything without that. If you have investors, like Nazara had investors like Westbridge Capital way back in 2005, and even before that, angel investors in 2000. I think having the support of the investors, communicating rightly to them, being transparent, and getting their confidence and faith is also very critical. So I think these are a few important aspects. I also realized having the right corporate governance in the short term may be a little painful for startups, but in the long term it really helps, and it really helped us as Nazara went public. So right from the start, gaming companies should have the right corporate governance. That will really help build a very strong platform on which to build the business. And I think last but not least, I think given the opportunity today, the ambition should be large, the aggression should be high, and a lot can be achieved by Indian startups in the gaming space. And hopefully, what Nazara achieved in 2 decades, right, companies will now achieve in 2 years. And I'm really looking forward to that.
Great, great, fantastic. At a macro level or India Inc. point of view, could you share highlights that help the gaming ecosystem leapfrog?
Like I was saying, the macro factors of device penetration, digital payments, data speeds, availability of risk capital, all of these are opened up a very large TAM in India itself, a billion potential consumers who are hungry for gaming and entertainment. And, we can deliver the right content and right engagement for them. You can build large business opportunities. So I think these are the macro factors really helping the gaming industry. And I think they kind of provide platform for companies to grow very fast. What Nazara took 2 decades to do, I think can be done much faster now, maybe in 2 3 years. And I really look forward to entrepreneurs attempting that and being successful. That's a dream we started with, about India becoming a large gaming nation, and I hope a lot of entrepreneurs take advantage of that.
Great, great. When we talk about highlights, Nitish, we have to talk about the lowlights as well. In this summit itself, we have a set of young gamers who are coming and sharing their thoughts. There is a sense of fear among them, if I may say so, and that's because what's happening with the battle royale games. Your arm Nodwin took one of the battle royale games, and there was a tournament being broadcast by a sportscaster like Star Sports. It was again a landmark moment for the gaming ecosystem. What is your view on these bans? Is it something that's creating a little bit of what I say, jeopardizing the growth, or is it an essential cleanup before you plan for a better tomorrow?
Sure. Look, I can't personally comment on, the ban or the action taken by the government, because I'm sure they have the reasons to do so, and we don't want to kind of, debate on that. At the same time, I think the gaming industry is in a secular up move, right? I think if you've seen the bans, PUBG happened, Free Fire became popular, Free Fire got banned, BGMI came in. What that shows is that the Indian youth and the Indian gamers are hungry for gaming, and they will move, they will find another game, and they will get to playing that, but that will not stop them gaming. So there might be short-term noise if such actions happen. There might be short-term turbulence, and sometimes it is unfortunate as well. But I don't think that's going to kind of stop the gaming industry in India to grow for the long term. I think the tailwinds are too strong. I think the growth ahead of us is too large. So these smaller disruptions will not really disrupt anything in the longer term. And therefore, I don't think any gaming entrepreneurs should get overly worried about it in the short term. They should go ahead, execute their plan, and things will all fall in place.
Great. It's just a turbulence and the flight will still land safely, is what you are saying. Thank you for that. Your observation on esports in particular, since we mentioned about the BGMI and Nordwind broadcasting it on Star. India has won medal in Dota 2, as we all know, and there was a warm reception for Moin, the captain of the team at Calcutta Airport. It was again a very warm welcome that he got, and it was not something that he expected. Do you see a further explosion as we move towards Asia Cup?
Absolutely. I think esports is well on its way to becoming an established sport in our country. And I won't be surprised in the next 2, 3, 4 years if it, really starts becoming the number 2 sport in our country. And therefore, the players, the teams must be celebrated. That's what will encourage them. And it's great to see the fans are, recognizing them. It's kind of a positive cycle, right? And the more they are respected and looked up to, more people will enter the space. Parents will also feel more comfortable about kids taking potentially gaming as a career, which they would not even believe earlier. So I think it's all in the right direction. And I think surely you will only see this momentum build up.
Great, great. You already mentioned about talent in your keynote address and also while answering a following question. As someone who has built teams over the last 20 years, have acquired many businesses that have their teams as well. What's your view of talent in India? And when I say talent, I mean gaming talent. We've always been an exporter, but do you think we can actually blend our cultural stories into gaming and then have maybe a GTA San Andreas moment for us?
Yeah. Originally, India, when at least in the first decade that we were operating in this business, India lacked the talent of game design, etc., while programming and maybe graphics was there. But in the last decade, I've seen that completely change, especially with a lot of the global studios set up back offices here. I think a lot of local talent got trained. And you are starting to see companies emerge now in India, which are developing for the global market. And many products have been successful, globally, including Western markets like the US, including our own Kidopia, right? It's built out of a team based in Mumbai. And today it's the number 2 app for young kids in the US on Apple Store. So I think India is now showing signs that talent can, develop products that can compete at a global stage. I think merging that talent now with locally relevant products, which monetize well, I think will encourage also seeing large IPs emerge for India. But before that, you will see, I think, more success happen by Indian gaming studios on the global landscape. And for that, talent is now available.
Great, great. I mean, you have already inspired many igniting minds starting up in the gaming ecosystem in the country. For ones who are bootstrapping today, they may be, trying to get a 5 minute with you to probably pitch their idea or to some other investor with money, with deeper pockets in the industry. What's your suggestions to them?
I mean, for me personally, I'm pretty active on LinkedIn. Anybody wanting to reach out to me can just ping me on LinkedIn. And I always usually respond promptly. Very happy to encourage young founders, startups in gaming and outside of gaming, because I also think just like this is a decade of gaming for India, this is also the decade of startups for India, right? And so much opportunity for youngsters to take advantage of. And as someone who's been in the digital space in India for over 20 years now, starting my company when I was 17, 18, whatever little I can share or contribute or encourage new founders, I'd love to do that. But yeah, I think founders should reach out to, experienced founders. Everybody is very happy to, connect, invest. Also, a lot of startup founders are very actively investing in startups and companies themselves. So they can be a great starting point to raise capital. So I'd highly encourage, all founders to pursue people they look up to.
Fantastic, fantastic. Anything in specific that you you evaluate while you are interacting with a potential business or potential investing opportunity?
Yeah, I think the underlying thought process and the underlying metrics, right? For example, is the founder chasing or talking about vanity metrics? By vanity metrics, I would say, let's say my game has 10,000 downloads. I would call that as a vanity metric. Or is he focusing and talking more about real metrics? By real metrics, I mean my D1 retention is X%, or my D30 retention is 5%, or my virality and organic growth is X%, which I call real metrics. So I think what that's always important. What is the level of maturity in the founder, and what is space he's going after? What is the opportunity there? I think these are some of the initial areas you look at. So obviously, when you're putting together your investing thesis, there will be many aspects you look at. But at least for me, these are a couple of things I look at right upfront.
Well, I can keep on going and learning more about the gaming sector for you from you. That's the time that I had. One last question from my end to you, Nitish. Ruchi Sharma, global analyst and think tank, had once said to Mr. Prannoy Roy in an interview that gaming globally is already bigger than films and music put together. And we journalists got puzzled by what is he saying. I mean, like, we are still writing stories about 600 crore movies, and that's the biggest thing. But here he is coming and saying gaming. And then later it was well explained through the course of the time that how it is actually already bigger globally. What's your view on India in gaming when it comes to 2025? How do you see the entire space?
I think there's no doubt in my mind that gaming as an industry in terms of revenue potential, even in India, will be far, far larger than all other entertainment industries put together. Now, whether that's in 25 or 27 or 29, I don't know. But I think there will be a time where gaming will be multiple times larger than all other entertainment industries put together in India.
Mhm.
I'm very confident of that.
Great. That's a really high note to end this conversation on. It is. Thank you very much for your time. That was MD Nazara Technologies, and I'm really grateful for your time. Over to you, Andy.
That was founder and managing director of Nazara Technologies, Nitish Mittersain, in conversation with Anirban Roy Choudhury. It was indeed an interesting and informative chat. Now let's move to the next panel discussion. Stay tuned and keep sharing session highlights on social media using the hashtag ET Gaming Summit.